Hey guys, it's your boy MKS back with another video. This video is about a scandal that happened back in the UK. I can't remember when it was. I think it was a few years ago. Which happened to many people. It was called the Windrush scandal. So those who don't follow British politics or this, or many other people probably wouldn't know this, but people in the UK might know this scandal. So it was basically people who came to the UK from parts of the world such as Jamaica or Caribbean, and I think it was Jamaica and the Caribbean really only, but I don't think it was people from Africa or specifically. But anyway, and there was a hostile immigration policy when Theresa May was Home Office Secretary before she became Prime Minister. So anyway, this many people were deported from the UK or were threatened with deportation and couldn't get. Obviously, in the UK, for those who live abroad, we get many people probably know, we get like healthcare and things like that. So they were denied healthcare or any rights. They couldn't work. Some of them lost their jobs, lost their rights. One or two were even threatened with prison, and some were deported. Some couldn't see their families or things like that because they didn't have certain paperwork when they came to the UK, and some were brought up here as children. So it was a big scandal, and not sure if their families got, or the people affected got reparations or compensation, if you like. But I think that would be good if they did, and I think, as part of this scandal, I think that the black community should be reparated through things like having a cut in their taxes as much as possible, or even extra funding through things like lottery funding or certain funding to like help them set up their own businesses and to be like exempted from as much tax as possible, to pay the lowest possible tax, considering they were told that they weren't even British citizens, so that they lost all those rights, but they've paid all this tax into the system and done all this. They did all this work to benefit the UK. In fact, were brought in when the UK needed labour after the war. So the way they were treated was really shabby. And in fairness to the government, I suppose people do make mistakes, including the government, obviously, and I'm sure it was not done deliberately, I would imagine, hopefully not anyway. But I do think they should be, if it hasn't already happened, I do think they should definitely have compensation against tax. Although part of me would love to see POC, people of colour, not have to pay any tax or pay the lowest possible tax and get lots of tax exemptions, which could be a form of reparations for, or generally I'd love to see people be able to choose where the tax money went or goes as much as possible. So the overseas aid could be POC, people of colour, giving money back to our ancestral homelands, or even other people even people like Irish people would be able to give money back to Ireland. And that could be like, so people who are more right-wing, who don't want to give overseas aid, would have that choice as well. So I think it gives everyone fairness, because you get to choose things. You don't have to pay for things you don't agree with. Like, if you're religious, then I don't think you should have to pay for things like abortion, or things that you don't agree with morally for whatever reason. And well, I included two groups together, which were the Windrush generation, and here in the UK, but also the Black Wall Street, which was also known as Little Africa, apparently, which I was finding out a bit about on YouTube a while back. And they were like, one of the people was accused of assault with that, and he wasn't given a trial. He was accused of a crime, harassing a woman, but he wasn't given any trial or anything like that. And possibly a lot of people already wanted an excuse to take over Little Africa or Black Wall Street, because they were jealous that black people were doing well. Like, apparently they had their own private planes, like little planes or things like that, and they were doing really well. Many of them were like millionaires, and they were doing really well financially, and so people were probably jealous. And I think that was very unfair that they there was a huge riot, and there was like all the Black Wall Street that they worked hard to build and become really financially successful was taken away. So I think, again, just like with the Windrush generation, and maybe the Black British and African American, and maybe even the global Black diaspora communities can work together to look at what would be a fair way to reparate them. So, as ever, I'd love to know what you think about these ideas, and do you think they're practical? Do you think they'd be fair? What do you think would be a fair recompense for Black, British, and African American communities because of what they went through, like through deportations, loss of jobs, loss of income, loss of rights, healthcare, taxes they paid into the system, and not being able to take out what they paid into the system, because the idea is that you contribute, and then when you become, if and when you become ill or you go through something bad, you get that sort of support. And so, as I say, I'd love to know what you think is a fair recompense for these things they went through. As ever, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section, and please like and share the video if you would be so kind. And if anyone new watching this, if you want to subscribe, I really welcome any support at all. And I hope that I get people, other minorities, people of color watching these videos, especially, and other people who support justice. Could be like Antifa, or even, although I'm more libertarian, but even socialists or communists, or even people who disagree with me. Hopefully they can still agree to disagree, and not in a cold way. But we don't always have to agree on the same things. And I welcome any views, even if they're to the contrary or whatever. But anyway, please post your comments. If you'd be so kind, like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you'd be so kind, if you haven't already done so. Anyway, I think that will cover everything. Sorry. Peace and love.